Hello and welcome to this video where I go through my Drawtober challenge of 2021 and talk about my choices and why I made them. I did this challenge in Procreate and I actually was never able to finish, but I got halfway through before I got too busy with school. I also don't have the footage for every single drawing because it was done on my old iPad and I didn't have any space, so I had to delete the ugly ones, but you do get to see the pretty ones. So this is a list that I decided to follow, and it is by artbylikrot on Instagram. And the first theme was nosebleed, and I actually don't have the footage for this one sadly, but it was done really quickly and not very well in my opinion, not all that happy with it. But I did play around with some different effects, like the first one with the runny eyeball and then this one that has like different lighting to it. The next theme was clown, and that one I was actually really excited about because I really like drawing clowns. So the first thing that I did was that I found a reference picture and I followed it pretty damn closely actually. I usually like to change it up so that you can't really recognize that I used the reference. But for this challenge I didn't really have much time and I knew that I wasn't going to use the drawings for anything other than just posting it as an Inktober challenge. So I gave the clown a little hat with some bells, and then here I'm trying to draw in the collar? I don't know what it's called, but the ruffly color type of thing. And then here I start on the line art. I don't always have line art in my drawings because I don't like making it, but when you're drawing something simple and trying to draw it quickly, I think it's actually pretty nice to have line art because then you can just draw within the lines and you don't have to render as much. So that's why I did it for a lot of these Inktober, Drawtober types of challenges, just to get them out faster. And here I start adding in the colors. I decided on a primary color palette, so I used magenta, bright blue and yellow, which is one of my favorite color palettes ever, and also just fits very well on clowns in my opinion. I also decided to go with sort of this runny type of look, so you can see that I put yellow underneath the eyes and then like rubbed it down, and same with like some splatters of color on the color around her neck, and you can see that also later. Then I wanted to do some clashing patterns, make it a little bit crazy, so I did a lot of stars and polka dots and hearts because I felt like these were like the best patterns to use. And then I added in the eyes, wanted all the colors in there, I wanted to look a little crazy, and then I actually tried like a overlay type of layer. I don't remember which one I put it on. And here's the final result of the clown. I'm pretty happy with it. On day 3, the theme was amputated. This is one of the drawings that I do not have the process video for because I didn't like it and deleted it for space. The autonomy is just absolutely atrocious. I also remember having barely any time for this drawing, so I sort of just reused an old idea, which I will show on the screen right now. And it's just not good. It's not up to my standards. Day 4 was eyes. And I remember also not having all that much time that day, so I decided to just go for a simple portrait of a woman with a whole lot of eyes. For this I decided to use the symmetry tool so that I could draw even faster, and I also decided on like a cute little pastel theme to sort of contrast creepy with cute in a way, because I really enjoy that contrast. So I went with multicolored pastel eyes and then cute little pigtails for the hair in this very nice pink color. I also felt like it wasn't enough to just give her a bunch of eyes, so I also gave her an eye in the mouth for some reason. I don't remember why, I think I just wanted to add more eyes. But overall I think she's actually really cute even though she is pretty simple. Here I'm just finishing up the small details and here's the finished result. Day 5 was insects, and I actually struggled pretty hard with this one and I really don't like the result, and I also don't have the video obviously, which is sad because I didn't like how it ended up looking, but I do like the concept. I do like the squished bug in the mouth and like eating bugs. I think that's kind of cool, but the rest of it is just not it. I don't like the face, I don't like how I drew almost anything else. Also, look at that hand. No, just not good. Day 6 was Wednesday. And I honestly think there's only one right answer to this one, and that is Wednesday Addams. I couldn't think of anything else. So I went with the obvious choice and decided to do a little screenshot redraw from the movie. And I honestly really enjoyed the process of this one. It was really nice to just sit back and relax and draw something that is a picture, or drawing a picture, or something that is already made. So I didn't have to think of a great idea or anything like that. I also just really like how she looks in my style, and I really want to make more screenshot redraws from movies and such, because I think it's really fun, and seeing things in different styles is just it's very fun. Yeah, I like it. And here I'm going in with the line art. I probably could have just copied the braid and pasted it on the other side, but I ended up drawing it by hand, I think. No, I didn't. Okay. Yeah, I did. There it is. Instead of copying it. I don't know why. The line art took some extra time for this drawing because I wanted to make it pretty, and I was just really enjoying this drawing, and I wanted to make it as good as it could be. And here I'm drawing in the skin, as you can see. I honestly think I could have gone a lot lighter with it, looking back at it, but I still think it looks good. During this stage, I also feel like things just sort of start falling into place a lot better, and you can see a lot better that it's her by like the backs of her eyes and the shapes of her lips and her button nose and stuff like that. And then here I'm coloring in her clothes. I had some issues with trying to show the braids like on top of her clothes because they're both black, but I think it turned out alright. I made the shirt a bit lighter than it's supposed to be, just so that you could see the braids properly. And then here I start drawing in the poison bottle, and I actually really like making that one, and I think it looks pretty realistic somehow. And then here I start drawing in the eyes. I actually have no idea what her eyes are supposed to look like. I tried to Google it and I couldn't find the answer anywhere, so I went with black. And then I made some cartoony smoke that I think looks really good from the poison bottle, and that is the final result. And here's a close-up because she's cute. Day 7 is vampire. This one I was also pretty excited about because I just love drawing fangs. Now I don't show the beginning of this stage because I used myself as a reference, and I took it at 3 AM and I looked absolutely horrendous in the picture. So that's why you can't see me drawing it from the beginning. But the idea behind this drawing is that there is a woman looking in the mirror and looking at herself turning into a vampire. So this is before she is completely a vampire, and later you can see that there are some bite marks on her neck. So she's like basically just realizing that she is changing and is kind of in shock. So that's the reason why she can still see herself in the mirror. And then here I add in the bite marks, as you can see. And then I play a little bit around with the hair. I wanted to give her red hair, but I felt like it just looked too unnatural, and I wanted this to look kind of candid in a way. Then here I add in some small details like highlights in the hair. I try out some freckles, didn't like it, gave her nails. And then I draw in the mirror and the background and the foreground. And here is the final result. I'm really happy with this one actually. Day 8 is Cave Dweller, and this one I also do not have the footage for, but I also made it in like 30 minutes max. Very quick, and just drew Velma from the Flintstones. Day 9 is Ice Cold. For this theme I decided to make like a creature that lives in cold climate, and I wanted it to look sort of like a hedgehog. I don't really know where I got the idea, but I wanted it also to be clothed or like clothed in this sort of cloak because it's cold. And then I gave her blue skin to show that she is just basically frozen, like a little icicle monster. This is a type of drawing where I was sort of just winging it. I had no idea what I was doing. Here I made her face. I also had no idea what I was doing with it, but I gave her like stitches around the mouth and sort of white glowy eyes because I thought that would make her more unsettling. And then it was time to add her icicles, her little hedgehog icicles on her back. I found some references for that because I had no idea how to draw them. Drew them really quick, and here is the final result. This one also ended up being one of my favorite drawings of this challenge. I just think she looks really cool and really different. Day 10 was Decapitation, which also turns out to be my favorite one of this challenge. So I started with a reference just to get a rough idea of how I wanted the body to look, because I wanted her to be cutting off her own head. So here you can see me drawing or sketching in the face and the facial features. I wanted her to sort of look aloof, like she didn't really care. I didn't really have that strong of an idea when I started this drawing. I just wanted to draw someone with a sword cutting their head off, which is kind of weird, I know. But then I decided on making it sort of like a battlefield, or like she's giving up or something like that. So I gave her armor, and I also felt like that fitted with the sword, so it would put up more of a story into it. And here I'm just drawing in the line art. It ended up being pretty rough for this one, actually. I don't remember if I was in a rush or something like that. And here is a face up of me drawing her face. And then I also gave her some like leaking mascara or like makeup, like she was just crying. Because I felt like that would add more into the story, like she had been crying, but now at that moment she had accepted her fate or something like that. Then I roughly draw in the background. It doesn't really look like a battlefield. It's kind of just like an empty, deserted place with a volcano. And then here I'm shading in the details, and I also added some like rusty brown colors just to make it look a bit more detailed. And then I later add in some textures, which I usually do not add into my art, so that was kind of an experiment, and I really liked it. And here's the final result. I think this one looks really good, and it is, I think, actually my absolute favorite from this challenge. Day 11 is Bad Boy. This is another one that I do not have the footage for, which is probably for the best because it's ugly. Here it is. I think it's very ugly. I don't like anything about it. The hands are terrible, everything's terrible. But day 12 is Parasite, and that one I like. So for this one I decided to draw a woman who has parasites in her face that are like coming out of different crevices in different places. So I started with just a simple head, as you can see right here on the screen. And just like with the other drawings, I didn't really put that much detail into it, except for decapitation. That one I put a lot of effort into, but I didn't have time to be making very nice detailed things because I had projects to deliver. I decided to give her a hairstyle where it looks like she used gel on the top of her head, but then she let her natural poofy hair loose. And then here you can see that I put in the first parasite on the forehead. Then I put a tongue out because I wanted some parasites in there. And then I put one in her ear. And I think I put one in the eye as well later on. And then here I shade the eyes, put in the last parasite, change the background color, give her some nice eyelashes. And that's pretty much it for this drawing. Here is the final result. I think she looks cute. Day 13 is Fungus. So for this one I also decided to go the more obvious route where I drew a girl with a mushroom head. So the first thing that I did was find a nice funky looking mushroom on the internet, and then I just put it on my canvas and started drawing a character out of it. Where I struggled most in this drawing is finding an outfit that fit the mushroom, because I didn't feel like anything fit. But in the end I just went with like a off-the-shoulder sweater. And here I'm adding in some line art and shading the face. And then I color in the mushroom and I put in some textured details to make it look like the actual mushrooms. I also tried putting that on the sweater, but I ended up not liking it. Then I gave her some dreads because they would look like the drops that are dropping or dripping off of her hat. And here's the final result. I think it's pretty okay. Day 14 is see-through. Here I feel like the obvious choice is to make a ghost, so I wanted to make something other than that and decided on making see-through clothes. And I wanted the person to be like holding the clothes in a way or like dragging it, so you would get some more wrinkles out of it. So that's why I found a reference of somebody doing a similar pose that I wanted, and then I put that in there, drew the pose. Here I'm drawing the hair. I struggle a lot with that actually. I didn't know what to do with it, but decided on this sort of poofy pigtail type of things. And then here I started coloring in the body shape. Then I started drawing in the outfit. I wanted it to look purple because I wanted it to look sorta like a sleeping gown or something like that. So I wanted to look dreamy and cute, and I added some stars to it to add to that theme. After I finished drawing her, I copied her and pasted her so that it would look like this, and this is the final result. I think she looks pretty cute like this, but not when she's on her own. Day 15 is yokai, probably saying that wrong. It's sort of like a Japanese demon. There are a whole lot of yokais to choose between, but I decided on Rokurokubi, which I'm probably pronouncing wrong, but it is a Japanese yokai where they look almost exactly like women, but either the neck stretches out and becomes ultra super long, or the head just straight up detaches from the body and flies around. I thought that was really cool, and also that it would be more simple to draw because I could just draw a really long neck and a woman, and I didn't have much time that day, so that's what I went with. Overall, I'm pretty happy with the results. I think it turned out pretty good, and I actually really enjoyed the process, especially shading the neck because it looks like a flesh-colored snake, and I thought it was fun. Here is the final result. The last drawing I was able to draw before I had too much to do was day 16, which was a love demon. This one I do not have the process for, but here is the final drawing. I actually do not like it at all. I don't like how I drew her, and I've also drawn this character before a lot better, so it just makes it even more bad. So yeah, that was it for my Drawtober of 2021. I hope I get to do a little bit of Drawtober this year as well, and maybe post it on here. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I see you again next week. Goodbye!